Hello YouTube, SentinalhMC here for episode 37 of my RotaryCraft tutorial series. In this video we're going to be talking about the compactor, but before we do that I just want to briefly mention this is how you set up the dew point aggregator. This is the reason it wasn't working properly in the last video. Reika explained in comments that yeah, the aggregator has to be colder than the area outside of it, so slap a cooling fin on it and it'll work just fine. Alright, so now that's out of the way, because I wanted to make sure everyone knew that. Let's go into the compactor. So the compactor is really expensive, and it takes an absolute ton of power to function, but it's RotaryCraft's method for allowing you to manufacture diamonds from coal. We know that there are several mods that allow you to do that, and this is how you do it in RotaryCraft. So, to craft the compactor, you're going to need 4 of these pressure heads, which are each crafted with this recipe. So they are really expensive. Just a steel ingot, 2 obsidian, 3 diamonds, and 3 bedrock dust. And you need 4 of these. So that's, you know, 12 diamonds, it's 12 bedrock dust, and it's an investment. These pressure heads are an investment. So you're going to have to get a block breaker, and you're going to have to run that, a bedrock breaker, and you're going to have to run that until you get enough bedrock dust to craft 4 of these things. Okay? Now once you have those 4, you can craft the compactor like this. The 4 pressure heads surrounding a 16x gear unit, 2 steel ingots, and 2 base panels gives you the compactor. Now, I have a compactor set up right over here, and I'm going to explain what this is. Now, this is what the compactor looks like. It's pretty darn cool looking. I really like the model for it. If we right click on it, it's got this GUI. It's got 4 input slots, 1 output slot, temperature gauge, and a pressure meter. Alright? You can see right now it's going down. Now, the way that the compactor works is that you have to supply it first with enough power, and this is the minimum power requirement, is 262 kilowatts at 4.096 kilonewton meters. So 4,096 newton meters of torque, which ends up giving you, I think, if you give it that much power, 64 radians per second. I think it is. Yeah, that's the minimum required power to get the compactor to start building pressure. But the problem you'll find is that that is not nearly enough power to get it up to the pressure that it is required to actually compact the diamond. Okay. Every single step in this process, and it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 step process, requires that you have 550,000 kilopascals, that's what PA stands for, of pressure built up in the compactor. That's ridiculous. That's a lot. And in case you don't know what pascals are, in case you're like me and you live in the United States, that is roughly a little bit less, just a little bit less than 80,000 psi according to Google. But this is a very high pressure, and so you need a lot of power in order to get it. If we go into the next page, we'll see here, this is the required pressure. It also has a required temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, and the way you get that is by putting lava underneath it. But it does have a maximum pressure of 600,000 kilopascals, which is only 50,000 higher than what you need. If it hits this number, it will explode. And I'm assuming that it will also explode if it surpasses the max temperature, but I know for a fact it will if it surpasses this number, because in my testing here I surpassed it and it blew up. Alright, so that's the compactor. Now, and if I just break this block here, you can see yes, there is a lava block underneath it. So that is what it has to be at. It has to be at 800 degrees C. In this case it's at 830 because this biome has an ambient temperature of 30 degrees C. Alright, so we are currently on this compactor above the 550,000 that we need, which means it will function. Now, how have I reached this? I have reached this by using a gas turbine. Alright, I am giving this compactor the entire output of a gas turbine, 67 megawatts, and I am using high ratio gears and other gearboxes to get me to 8.389 mega newton meters. So I have taken the output of the gas turbine, which is at 65,000 radians per second, and I have geared it down to 8 radians per second. Okay, and you can do this with gearboxes. I've used a high ratio gear. You can use it with a CVT unit, but that's what I've had to get it down to get it to in order to get this above the 550,000. See, right now it has stabilized at 589,100 kilopascals. Okay, so it's now stabilized, and it will now function at 12.6 seconds per operation, which in order to increase that, you'd have to give it more power to get the speed up. Now I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure, I haven't messed with it, but there might be some leeway in that pressure for you to change the gear ratio with a CVT unit to one of the divisible by 2 ratios. Like if you put, like, this is a 2-to-1 gearbox, maybe you could make it a maybe you could make this, I don't know, maybe you could mess around with the CVT unit and see if you can get it there. But that's what I've had to do here, and it works. So this is an enormous gear ratio. It's huge, big gear ratio. But you have to get it up to this point. You have to get it up to at least 550,000 kilopascals. Okay. So now that we've got the compactor up to that amount, what does it do? Well, the compactor, very simply, it takes coal. You give it 4 pieces of coal, and it will compact that coal into, it's taking 12 seconds each time, just give it a bit, 2 anthracite. So 4 coal gives you 2 anthracite. Now what can you do with anthracite? Well, you can throw it back in the compactor, or you can craft it into an anthracite block. So maybe you like the look of the anthracite block, maybe you want to use it for something, this is how you would get it. Okay, anyway, that's that. Now we can take 4 anthracite and put it back in the compactor. It's going to take the same amount of time, it's going to take the same power, the same pressure, and it is going to compact the anthracite. Give it a sec. I'm sorry this takes a while, but now the compactor is slow at this amount of speed, but it takes such enormous torques, and it's you know. So we compact the anthracite into prismane, which once again you can craft into, actually no, you cannot craft prismane blocks. I thought you could craft prismane blocks. You cannot craft prismane blocks. Okay? So the only thing you can do with prismane is you can throw it back in the compactor. I thought you could make prismane blocks. I guess not. At least according to NEI. Yeah. And 12 seconds after that, we'll get the next step in the process. Remember, it's taking 4 for each step. Come on. Oh, this takes forever. I mean, it should take forever. You are literally creating a diamond here. I mean, there are other mods that allow you to create diamonds like this, but they do it so much quicker. With bit unrealistic, and that gives you Lon's Delight. Okay, now Lon's Delight can be crafted into a block, which in this texture pack looks like this, and then again, and you see it's looking more and more like a diamond each time. So now it's a white gemmy looking thing, and so now the final process, we took 4 of the Lon's Delight, we put it back into the compactor, and it will give us that which we have sought, a diamond. So yeah, the compactor takes an extreme amount of power. It takes a long time unless you give it more speed, which would, man, that would just boost the power requirements even more. I think the only way I would be able to speed this up is by slapping another jet engine down, gas engine. Maybe you could always run this off the output of a reactor from ReactorCraft if you know those things generate a lot of power. But yeah, it takes a lot of power. Come on, compactor. Give us what we want. Turn off NEI here. You can see the entire GUI. I keep forgetting to turn off NEI for these. 2 diamonds. Hooray. There we are. Now it's a 4 times... Well, you need 4 each time, but it gives you 2 each output. So if you put a whole stack of coal in there, for every 4 pieces of coal, I get 2 out. divided 2. I don't know. You get I don't know how many diamonds you would get out of this. I think maybe you get in the other mods you'd have to compress an entire stack of coal to get 1 diamond. So I'm not really sure how much coal you have to throw in here to get a diamond. It'd take me forever just waiting for this thing to go after a full stack. But yeah, you can get some diamond here. So yeah, that's how you do it. That is how you produce diamond in RotaryCraft. Goodness. So yeah, it's a really expensive. It's an expensive block, and it takes a lot of power. So, but you can produce diamond with it. I wish there might be other uses for the compactor. I don't know. According to the handbook, this is all it does. But anyway, that's the compactor. Yeah, just make sure this thing doesn't explode, because that is a lot of resources to lose if you blow this thing up. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the episode on the compactor. Next episode, we will talk about, well, the steel purifier doesn't need an entire episode, so we'll throw that in. We're not going to talk about these things. Nope. You can talk about that. So yeah, we'll talk about a couple of things. We'll talk about this thing. So yeah, we will talk about a couple of miscellaneous machines in the next episode. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the next episode of the ReactorCraft series, either tomorrow or Sunday. Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.